Hello, and welcome back. Northstar here with another episode of my Hearthstone 4 Let's Play as the United States going the communist alt history path. I saw a distinct lack of these paths on YouTube. I am also doing one, possibly two by the other one will ever continue. Multiplayer's this, so getting more skilled in it. Beneficial for that. I've already messed up twice. Excuse me, but I've learned from that, and as I go in this, I'll learn. And lessons learned here will translate to those multiplayer games. Now the first thing here is that I have downsized my military from 36 divisions to 23 and put one more in training. It's a higher priority than most of the other stuff. So it'll slowly get basic infantry equipment. The other guys are going to exercise when they arrive. I've deployed them kind of along the borders of where the Confederacy will be when the Second Civil War starts, or at least key points. So Wichita, Kansas, Springfield, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. I think this is supposed to be Boulder. I ended up putting him in Denver because it's the victory point. And if like Cap goes away, I don't really have the ability to stop him, but I can stop him from taking Denver quick. Obviously, in the Civil War breaks out, I'll have to train a bunch of infantry quickly, but I don't need more men in arms. They'll just mean more divisions might switch to the Confederacy, which will in turn mean more manpower I'll never get back. Instead, I disband a bunch of divisions and put the equipment up for sale that can be used to make factories, which aren't going anywhere, aren't even the ones in the south will be recaptured, and it's as good as if, I never lost them, unlike men who you can't get back. Remember, Ohio actually has 3 build slots available from the beginning and only 1 infrastructure to max, so that's my first. It's also got steel and aluminum. More build slots unlock with tech. Some people say, oh, well, it's not perfect unless you can build like 5 buildings in a state to build the infrastructure. Yes, but you'll eventually get 5 with tech upgrades as the US. And you're limited for build slots. You have to build infrastructure sooner or later. So slightly hurt the rate of factory gain, but then you won't have to go back later and fill in infrastructure in places you're already rebuilding factories. So yeah, there's other benefits like supply. And it helps with stuff like even anti-arrogance if I really get put on my back feet, unlikely, or air bases to bomb Canada if like the UK goes fascist, could do it. Anyways, unpause. Started some medium lobbying effort, continuing the New Deal. And that's done. I'll appoint Eisenhower chief of the army. He's already chief of the actual army forces. Mark Clark, infantry leader, is the general because he'll gain infantry experience faster. He's also recklessly plans quick. First thing I'll be doing with army experience is getting quick improvisation. That will get me command power. The other thing I could do is relief of command. Oh, yeah, no, I would do it for the political power savings on the chief of the army, except that it's so important to point Eisenhower and I can't hold on to political power. So, yeah, no, quick improvisation, command power. That'll help my navy. As long as my navy is strong, no one can really touch me. I'll eventually be going communist. So if Mexico goes that way, or I do a coup there to make sure they go that way, I'll be able to sign non-aggression pacts and eventually go in a faction with them, hopefully. So I'm not worried about my southern border. It's the northern one that's eventually, in Canada, isn't that much of a threat. As long as I can control the seas, I'll be good. First Spirit Navy will be naval reform. Then I'll just be doing a ton of exercises, using Navy XP for tech boosts, and eventually I'll be switching to like integrated designers to get ship modules fast or whatnot. Pompous parades. Yeah, no. No, not heard of it before. No. Let's go though. Medium mobbing effort. Take advantage of that they can't go into negative from daily loss or gain. So Eisenhower, then the WPA, Eisenhower and special measures with the rest of the political power. WPA, it's very important I have enough support in Congress so I don't get held up in the Agricultural Adjustment Act. Although second budget of 150, it's gonna be a little tougher, but I need to hold on to enough of it that I can, after Agricultural Adjustment Act, suspend the persecution, appoint Bowder. I may need to save a little power before I start this, and then Union Representation Act, because I want to get that before the 36 elections. So I have 10 months. 300 days. You can get screwed in those elections and lose all your support. If you get start the focus, even if you lose in the elections, it won't cancel, and then I'll just give you a majority in Congress. So it's good. First guy promoted will probably be Omar Bradley. He's very talented. He's got a lot of potential. He's already an engineer, which is a harder trait to grind. Unlike Patton, he's a brilliant strategist. Maybe historically, wasn't Patton field marshal, so maybe Bradley was the general under him who was actually talented, and is that what they're trying to imply? I always thought that Patton was a brilliant strategist historically, whereas MacArthur was not, and he's listed as such in the game, which is nonsense. MacArthur was in combat, he was politically connected and a careerist. Yes, and a media personality, but he was definitely not a brilliant strategist. Patton was. Eisenhower arguably was very highly competent, and I could see an argument for giving him brilliant strategist as well, or not. Logistics wizard definitely fits fitting as his offensive doctrine organizer. But they're wrong about MacArthur. That's just a nod to the right wingers who play this game and love MacArthur. He was a prick. He does side with the Confederacy if you actually go that yourself. I don't think he does if the player goes Democratic, but if the U.S. goes the fascist path, he stays with you. He's can even become the leader of the country. He's not loyal. Let's see. I didn't bother merging these up. All these destroyer squads, and they're all just Clemson destroyers. So, Atlantic, Clemson. I'm just being really obvious with the names of stuff. I got Burke because he's bold, so fire naval speed in charge of the Atlantic fleet. Isaac is Nimitz, blue water expert, because to get to and from the Philippines, you have to cross a lot of open ocean. I sent the Hawaiian subs to the Philippines. Subs are slow, and let's put them there so I know I can get them there if Japan's going fascist. I'll find out soon their path. Of course, they won't really attack me soon enough so I don't know why I actually bother. Probably because I was sleeping there even during the Second Civil War. And then Halsey because he's also bold. Just the higher naval speed helps a little with ships moving in and out of port for repairs. Saves an insignificant amount of fuel. I've also turned automatic split off on and repair priority medium so ships don't pull in the port until they're pretty damaged. The destroyers can get really close to sinking at medium. If you get really unlucky, destroyer sub can sometimes get a really bad accident and sink. medium, but it's exceedingly rare. The fuel savings in the long run make up for it, probably. It's not very risky. Hey. Spain is trying to buy equipment, but they don't have the convoys. That, because then they'll convoys haven't been disrupted. They just don't have them, and they won't bloody the deals will cancel. Nothing I can do for that. That sounds just kind of loud. I actually like it. So continue the New Deal, as I was saying. Go with FDR in the elections. The New Deal spirit is good. Yes, you get a bunch of political power dropped into your lap if you switch the Republicans, and you can still go communist with them in power. But although you have less ideology drift, so it'd be hard to build communism support. But you can still do it with FDR in the New Deal spirit, which you don't get till the 36 elections, even though he was already in power. New Deal, he started on 32, hence why you can continue it from the beginning. Tiny trickle of infantry equipment here. Did realize if I put this on M1 Garans, it would start at max efficiency instead of low, but eventually I'll need the 1903 Springfield production for like garrisons and intel. I'll just never increase that beyond one factory. Probably just keep it that way the whole game. This is a little faster and this allows me to sell most stuff while I just use basic for training. People have already bought up my M1s. Yeah, they like them. Do not like that song. Oh, shoot. I knew I was forgetting something. I always forget something. Guess I have limited fuel, so it's not terrible. But, I'll merge these. Otherwise, they'll have to, but they're all obsolete stuff. I'll probably sell off later. The cast looks the same as the other stuff, but user nav, user cast. Just gonna do air exercises till I have 50 air XP. Well, there's quite there. Still, I'll wait till they arrive in Virginia or Maryland. No, Virginia. It's not till tomorrow. I'll stop. Okay. You know what? Whatever. Maryland remains loyal. Virginia does not. Buying chromium from the Soviets. There'll be a counterweight to the Germans if they stay fascist. Oh, M2. Alright, just go to Georgia then, will you? So I always miss the spirits. I'm a little late on, or don't start the guy's training soon enough. It's just dumb, but hey, I screw up. I don't think they just burn fuel if they're doing exercises while they're in transit. Some people may think it's cheap, but I'm annoyed with myself for not putting my exercises on day one. What I'm trying to save up AirXP for is this, because it'll give passive AirXP even if I can't put a Chief of the Air Force for a long time because of political power. I'll need it for, well, Congress and then mobilizing my economy during the Civil War and war propaganda. So I can mobilize the economy and eventually conscription, maybe even. Probably not that. Political advisors I get for like free, so it's just mostly Congress. Like making Clark an army advisor. Oh yeah, two divisions in Atlanta. Old Hickory and Dixie. I think Kentucky actually stays oil, which, okay, I'm not sure, but even if they do, Indiana's got more build slots and I'll eventually be building it up. That's non-aligned states, yeah, and there is, yeah, Kentucky is, I'm thinking about it. So these guys will probably sit in Louisville. It's right on the river in real life. Unless, is there a somewhere they can threaten a supply hub? I think Tennessee doesn't stay oil. This one's a forest, probably not too hard to take, and they can intercept it and go into Louisville. And this is an airbase. Minor value. So yeah, they'll go here. This airbase. Oh, got guys who aren't doing air. What are these? These are close air support. A-12s. I really should go that way eventually. So for Virginia stays oil too. A-12s are actually pretty valuable. They're casts and they're reasonably alarmed. They're not as good as some stuff, but the rest is carrier stuff. Naval patrol bombers. Some old interwar bombers. Oklahoma doesn't stay oil, I believe. West Virginia. I don't know about the air exercises, if they're gaining any on the way here. Or not. Let's see. Nope. Didn't even make progress in that. These guys, I think, did. So maybe when they just can't start them when they're in transit. I don't know. No, they're not either. They actually didn't. To West Virginia. Takes a long time for those tactical bombers. They're slow. They're old models. Honestly, I should move my whole air fleet out this way. Fighters, even carrier fighters, can still Fight on land. Ah. Did this just play? Whatever. Send these all people all the West Virginia. Lovely lands of Appalachia. From there, thence to Maryland. Track the people as they cross the country. I'm not doing Spirit of the Naval Academy, but I'll leave that there so it's a mental reminder when I get 35 for Naval Reform. If I disable it, disable their stuff. It's like a disable resource, though I think that if it changes, it tells you. Create airbase theaters now. Different replacement priorities. Interesting. Oh, very slowly getting air XP. One sec. Only 22 minutes recording here. Just wanted to check on this has been going. I won't be able to do too long today because I'm gonna be traveling later. Get a short couple videos. The first one before I did all the off-camera micro in this uploaded. Folks can watch them. Be ready when I do the next one, probably after I'm back from travel. I don't have to wait for the weekend, unlike the multiplayer game where that's when the other guy is available. 8 o'clock on January 31st. These guys should mostly go to Maryland. Oh, why are they? No. They can all get there in time, right? Yep, before the end of the day. Huh? Fighters. A12s. I don't mind having 2 smaller air wings, I guess. Provides flexibility, and aces are more effective when it's maybe ideal if they're both 50. I'm not going to bother merging or anything. Nav, cast the nav. Cast will be useful in the eastern seaboard. For dealing with the Confederate fleet. Really, they're so slow, these naval patrol bombers. Ooh, opposition suffers defeat in the Senate. Motion to censor President FDR has been defeated in the Senate with even the most ardent support. While even its most ardent supporters had little hope that it would pass, the amount of votes against it came as a shock even to the most pessimistic of observers. It appears that the president enjoys a far greater level of support in the Senate than most believed, which should help advancing his legislative agenda. Cool. just gonna take everyone off and put everyone on. It's easier, simpler, less buttons to push. Cool. And the small fuel savings make up, I feel like, for not doing the air exercises right away. I'm gonna be kicking myself about that for a while. It takes a long time to get to 50 air XP. It may not even happen before Civil War. I'll be doing, I guess, night operations. I don't want to spend the plug power of this guy. I'm not even sure the air safety thing kicks in. The night operations penalty is not. Some people mistakenly believe this is like fighter combat, and then when there's no buffs to fighter combat, they say it's broken. It's not. It's the night operations penalties to tactical bombers and CAS actually find their targets. In naval strikes and stuff, ground missions have a high. It's not that big on a boost their effectiveness. It's useless for fighters, but it's something. Unless there's a chief of the Air Force who's a general. Those are always good to use because they can become geniuses. They're level up. Nope. My chiefs of the Navy, they can all carriers aren't useful later, so it'll probably be Ernst King or Nimitz. We're both level 5 admirals. Honestly, Nimitz is, with his naval lineage and gentlemanly, it's not terrible, although this makes individual ships, when they have split off, enable less likely to retreat from a fight. Not great. Gentlemanly is a very good trait, though, with extra org. So, of course, it takes a ton of experience, so maybe King, because he just levels up faster. I feel like I could had someone who could become a decisive battle expert, but it's useful even when you're going base strike doctrine. Makes your escorts for the carriers fight better. You know, decisive battles, carriers, but carriers, as opposed to like skirmishing with them, basically, it's still a thing. All right, should be about to get 35 naval XP. Put this up to 7. Let's see, how much is reserved for capital ships? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22. Yeah, I'll allow up to half my dockyards to do repairs anytime. Things shouldn't be waiting very long with that many repairs if, yeah, and this, oh wait, the New Orleans doesn't use chromium. If I want to use more efficient, make more efficient use of chromium, it's this I need to put extra dockyards on. Plus it won't be ready at 37 otherwise. Be nice to have it before the Civil War. Efficient use of limited resources. It's a higher priority to get extra dockyards than that. Carriers, because. And then after that, let's try and get this. I can't do any more capital ships, so I'll violate the London Naval Treaty and get screwed. But I should be. Oh, I can do naval reform now. Almost precisely the right moment. Maybe I missed a day, but not anymore. Let's gain Army XP. I'll really need to get Eisenhower to actually get it at an appreciable rate. That'd be quick improv. Helps my army, helps my navy too, though, with the extra command power being useful for recruiting new admirals who have more long-term potential in these folks. Because if I take like Sentinel's training, they can roll extra traits. And the ones who roll badly, I just, when they get to level 2, I just don't train further. And I might get better personality traits. Career officer's nice, but like chief engineer is great. Reduced crit hit chance. Helps a lot with subs in the stores not dying due to the rare crits. It's even good for training accents, I believe. Okay, lobbying's gonna end soon. Won't actually be able to advance this since I won't have enough political power gain. And House hearings into presidential. His conduct, I want support in the House. Voting lovely. Not. Alright. That's done. Getting Norfolk Naval Yard up. Only needs one more relatively affordable thing. I wonder if I could have done 97. Yeah, this would have been like 2 of them. 4949. It might have been 1 day faster to do the active sonar instead of this shell stuff, but this will be useful sooner, I suppose. Maybe I should have done the active sonar because this could have benefited from integrated designers. Of course, this works my way towards this trait. Very useful. This not so useful, and I already have this. Oh well. Mistakes made. 1 extra day. Of course, that's all I actually know. It's 45 and 45 versus 97. That doesn't seem right. Wow. Would have been quicker with versus 89. It was actually 45 and 44 because they had 1 day saved up, so it's actually the same. And not bloody well, I could use active sonar on any ship. Passive is more than enough to keep subs in hiding. It's useful if you want to actually hunt and kill subs, but it's usually enough just to make them hide. You get more Navy XP from the constant little skirmishes. Probably should send the 6 sub squad to the Atlantic soon. I need more ships than this. This is like not nearly enough to deal with the ships the Confederacy will get. Probably also the cruiser group. Carrier. Where are the rest? Is the rest of the Pacific Fleet? Where the bloody heck? Oh, that's the Atlantic Fleet I got selected. Oh yeah, I sent all the heavy cruisers there. So this is a few Omaha class, which can keep up. They were used as destroyer leaders historically. Pacific Carrier Squad, which is way faster than battleships. Yeah, they'll need to send the carriers to the Atlantic. Probably need to send everything eventually. While they're here, though, picking Navy XP instead of traveling, and that'd get me up to some tech boosts. I like to invest in naval yards early because they get a long lead time, and if I can't produce big capital ships, it's a lot of quality of ships, and of course, just sheer numbers of screens. I'll also be doing the torpedo cruisers and hoping I get both defensive and defensive iteration this time. I keep only rolling the offensive one. I'm pretty sure they get. I know they do because I once tagged to the IDC and noticed that the U.S. had gotten both. I can get a defensive one as well. Torpedo cruisers can mount a lot more torpedoes than a cruiser normally can, and they can be light or heavy cruisers like most cruiser hulls. They also have more HP than the 36 cruiser hulls. So they're super effective cruisers for this year, and the torpedoes mean you don't have to worry about having battleships to sink enemy capital ships. You just sink them with torpedoes after you decimate them in screens. So you're relying on lots of light cruisers with and guns that are good at killing screen ships, the medium batteries, and torpedo cruisers to sink the capital ships. And you don't need to worry at all about actual capital ships of your own. It's way around the London Naval Treaty, which never anticipated how effective torpedoes could become. Of course, that strategy works even better if you're Japan. Still hasn't said what option they've done. But they do get the long lance torpedo. Extra torpedo screen penetration. They get this, which helps when they do research torpedo cruisers. Make him cheaper. So Japan can really go along with the torpedo cruisers. They don't actually need to withdraw from the London Naval Treaty. Can save themselves a local political power. Delay the withdrawing. They probably still need the capital ships eventually. Part of the reason I got in the habit of this is I was playing US-Mexico games. I would sell basic infantry equipment to the Mexican player. It's a little cheaper than this, so that he could then divert stuff to Spain. I have to call this video soon. Krakow, I haven't heard this song before. People are buying my stuff up. Could min-max a little more by more regular listing stuff, but I also like to buy these fighters. Why don't they just reinforce into the existing fighter squads? Oh, because these are fighter casts. They don't match. I mean, it's cool. I guess it means I can have stuff to sell. This is a very soaring song. Fitting in a way. Soulmate of Asa submits to Italian demands. So things are going well for Italy. I guess. Sell everything but the kitchen sink here. Build my industrial base. Maybe I'll sell the kitchen sink too. Everything in the kitchen sink being sold. Come, buy it. We need the money to build our industry here in the United States. I can delay Tennessee to get these done sooner. Wait, why is Tennessee before Louisiana and the... Oh, because it's Fearless. Oh, and that'll be done. I'll start Louisiana and South Carolina. Tennessee won't be until... Yeah, Tennessee infrastructure is done. Cool. Right. So bigger. Number for sale. All this stuff no one will ever buy or won't buy at the prices they sell eventually, but no harm in trying, I guess. Cultural adjustment, not only it's necessary for this eventually. That's a way to get more support. Farm subsidies. Rural states. That was very much historically done for political reasons, though it helped farmers who, you know anything about the Great Depression, there was a crisis of farmers being unable to find people to buy their produce at prices that were enough for them to transport it and such, even as people starved in some of the cities. So they were actually destroying the produce, so the government started paying them sometimes to plant less, so prices go up. Of course, or just giving them payments so they go under. Of course, what should have been happening is the food should have been redirected to, people were starving in the cities. Some of it was indirectly with stuff like the WPA, preventing paths to employment indirectly through very poorly paid or unpaid government work. Sometimes it was paid. And then people have money to buy food, obviously. Yeah, just so it won't bug me about this. Could be building a little political power surplus or nation building. Interesting. Wait, 525, 1050. Oh, I should just do medium lobbying effort. This actually gets more support than special measures. Whoops. This will slowly eat into my political power stockpile once I'm running at focus, but I don't think it'll run it to 0. 0.71 per day. Yeah. Eventually, I have enough built up. I should be able to do small lobbying, or actually right after. Which will also put me in the black. I mean, the red. Yeah, right in the beginning of the game, I could have done nation building stuff since I wasn't gonna have any political power anyways. That was a mistake. Could have done all 4 of my puppets. I have useless leaders except Puerto Rico, which got an economist as their randomly drawn leader. Germany's going its historical path. Worrying indeed. This guy. Jamie Aranda, economist. I guess they're trying to make convoys so they can sell them. It's my best guess, so they can buy stuff in the markets. It's not a big thing, but missed opportunity to make my puppets a little stronger. Turkey remilitarizes. It can happen. Soviet Union can object, and Straits can remain demilitarized. That can happen. I think that blocks Turkey from a focus. One of their naval ones. Not sure. So I learned something every time. Now I learned that I could have gotten some free nation building in the Philippines, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, and Marinara Federation puppets for the first. How long would the decision last? Could have only really productively done it 120 days. Oh, that would have been longer than the focus. Actually, that would have cost me political power for real. Guess it would have been a bad choice then. I lost nothing. I'll have to keep in mind I can sometimes run it though. Not now, but maybe later. If I'm seeing a 0 political power. But when focus completes a temporary +1 or something. This guy's only at 4% equipment. Gonna make these guys elite. They should be an even higher priority than the National Guard at this point. Get them out in the field. Guard, because it's more infantry focused, infantry equipment will contribute relatively. Takes more equipment, but XP gain is scaled both with the size of the division and the percentage equipment they have. And when they have just rifles, nothing else, they're at a higher percent than this. Such you get slightly more army XP per rifle than with the smaller divisions. If I need really early offensives in the Civil War, the National Guard are the ones for, because they're bigger. Later on, infantry, because they have relatively more support, and so you can fit more support per width. So, yeah. Bump them up here. I'm doing an infantry division just because it costs less equipment to get in the field. People aren't buying them ones here, though. Should probably enable these at this point. Just for a little while. few days. Only need 20% equipment, and then they can deploy and start training with exercises. Of course, if I'm not selling the equipment, there's no actual benefit to that. Alright, I'll disable it again. Someone's gonna buy all these rifles, right? The whole point of not using for Army XP instead was so that people would buy them. I'll slowly trickle the way up to 15% equipment, up to 20. To get more Springfield rifles. Should get them preferential to anyone else. 3 a day. I don't know why they aren't. These a low priority just to make sure it goes to training queue. Even during the Civil War, I'm going to want to train people first, so. There we go. 39 Springfields. Some days it's 3, some days it's 4 they're produced. It's worth noting, in terms of actual combat power, larger undersupplied divisions at least have a little more org. Because the infantry, if they have support companies, if it's pure infantry, it makes no difference. Yeah, it's slightly more org, and so you get slightly more benefit having a bunch of under-equipped divisions, especially so long as they have enough defense and none are suffering crits. So that defense stats of, you have 250 strength divisions, both with enough defense. Neither will suffer crits, but you'll have twice the effective org out there. If it gets to the point where they're suffering crits, then you're better having fewer, better supplied divisions. So it's kind of it's not always better. Here we go. First trait, shipyard expansion for Norfolk. I want Naval Station Norfolk, and then I'll want to switch everything to the other guy, shipbuilder. 800. They gain, pause this for a sec. A bunch of funds per day in theory, but a lot are in repairs right now. Still more than 5 a day. I already have 200, they need 800. Okay, just to guide what I give them ahead of time. 750. Yeah, that's probably too much. 500. That might be the right amount. 750. I think when you double it, it's less. The damage control. I think this gets cut down from 1250. You know what? Not positive it is. Magnetic mines, 1,000. Wow. Guess I should have done active SAR. Oh, or smoke generators. It's 375. Still need another trait. Smoke generators and says 1250, but I'm pretty sure it gets cut in half to like 625. At least once you reload a save. You know what? Still 101 days. 5 days. Saying, guess it's active sonar. 89 days, 500. I have to gain 5 a day. Yeah, I want as little overflow as possible. So I messed up before. I should have done this at the beginning, and I think we've gotten the shipper expansion a day later, a day earlier. No, because it would have been 45 and 44. This would have been 88 though, because I had a day saved. Oh well. Moving on. Now I'm withdrawing from the London Navy Treaty because all I have to do is just spam screen ships and I stay compliant. It's not withdrawing from it right now. I need the political power for other things. Special project, torpedo cruisers. Subspecialist. I think he already has a little XP. Maybe I should have had the other guy doing whatever. Basic research and switched him in for this. It's too much micro, but might have been useful. Well, not really. I would have known. Yes, I do want him to level up though. I think even his skills up, he's more effective at basic research a little bit. Just want more iterations. And they actually do skill him up faster. I could elevate the Marine Corps right now, but that doctrine would go over to the Confederacy. Any doctrine I did, including, say, switching to trade interdiction, be better off putting into tech right now. I'm already doing Norfolk Navy Yards, so this would be Newport News now. I start growing them. Instead of Naval Station Norfolk, it's a better choice. I just enough support right now for agriculture adjustment. If I get screwed by bad events, I could be in trouble. Need agriculture adjustment act to, of course, lessen the impact of the Great Depression. Also be able to put the Union Representation Act to get cumulative wealth tax, which also Fair Labor Standards Act will switch in. I'll have the Great Depression done relatively soon, much earlier than if you do a pure Democratic path. It's no, you can stay Democratic, even avoid a civil war, and still do all this. You can fire the communist advisor after you got the focuses. It's not required. Of course, going communist gives you the freedom to invade countries, to pump them cheaper. In a U.S.-Mexico game, I could rely on the Mexican player to do that. But in this one, I can't necessarily, even if Mexico is communist. Yeah, I can't handle that on its own. I can't faction with a communist nation unless I'm communist, so. Alright. I want to grow Newport News a second because I don't want to be very careful about my political power this early, so I'll do mechanical computing actually next. But Newport News will be all the main naval stuff. I am stockpiling Navy XP because it won't be too long. I have to deal with Hitler eventually. He's doing his historical path, probably. Could be doing this slightly different, still fascist path where it tries to align more nations instead of invade them. I think there is an alternate path code for it where he heeds von Neurath's concerns. I think it's this instead of this is the historical one. Reorganize the Wehrmacht, fill it with yes men. Instead of listen to his chief of the army who tells him, you take on all of Europe, you'll eventually get defeated. It's just a matter of time. Which is true. Game you can pull off impossible. That's probably because the AI is so incompetent. If the AI was competent and the starting power levels and focus trees were realistically balanced, it would be impossible for the Nazis, at least taking the strategy they did historically. They would have to do things differently, like start the war later to win. One of the things is needing more time to build more U-boats before the war began, which once began there were, interruptions of access to materials that went into them and stuff. Okay, this is the fascist collaborator one. But the tainted... Who's this guy? The Tainted Ross. I don't think I've seen... This is a different... I'm going to be interested in the news. Japanese young officers. Okay, so they're going non-aligned. They will attack China. They will attack the Soviet Union. They will not try and attack the United States or Singapore. So they won't try. They'll try and avoid antagonizing the U.S. and Britain and just focus on China and eventually the Soviets. Historically, this represented a focus on the Soviet Union. This was a possible debate within Japanese, probably the least unrealistic alt history path, or the most plausible, rather, because they all could have happened. This puts the emperor directly in charge of the nation again, instead of him just being a figurehead to the fascists. And instant military purges. It's let's see. And they take a different approach. They challenge the Zaibetsus instead of whatever they normally do. They end up with more political power this way. If I remember, in the Imperial Arsenal, there's more build slots. Spiritual mobilization. But yeah, I won't have to worry about any kind of like invasion of the Philippines. It's not in this focus tree. It's only in the fascist one. They never end up doing this because China usually antagonizes them, if not nationalist China, the communists will. So they mostly just attack China and eventually pivot to the Soviets. Okay, I definitely don't need a fleet in the Asiatic fleet, whatever this is. Not useful. Why are some of these S-class subs here? They should be. Let's see. Doesn't show exactly where they are, but going to San Francisco or LA. I don't know which is closer. I'll do LA because it's closer to eventually sending him around to the East Coast. This enables me to focus my Civil War. Just gonna send Asiatic Fleet all to the West Coast. No more need to worry about invasion of the Philippines and trying to raid some Japanese convoys, make that more costly for them. Or even put a bunch of army divisions there and try and stop it. This is a unique song. Must be triggered somehow by this. Curious to see the news event when it triggers. Should be in a day or two. Ah, they both have Ethiopian focus trees. Persian Royalists, Solomonic Dynasty. One's fascist, one's not aligned. Both should be at war, I think, with Italy. No, not these guys. Weird. Oh, this guy acts as a regent to the Italian. So it is a weird kind of collaborator state. Okay. I wonder how that triggered. I don't know the focus trees quite well enough. Must have been something Italy did, right? Then, if it's not in the Ethiopian one. Maybe it's a topple Amahara thing. Nope, that requires Triumph in Africa. Maybe it's event driven? I don't know. It's gonna make it harder for the Titans, I suspect. So maybe they'll go a historical path because Mussolini gets embarrassed early before he's consolidated too much power. That's the reason why the success of the war in Ethiopia determines Italy's path. Also enables nations like, say, the Soviets to potentially influence Italy's path because they can send volunteers to Ethiopia. Try to. At least that kind of stuff. They successfully prop up the Ethiopians enough. They can help ensure Italy is not gonna remain fascist. Power gains, yep. That's because they're strengthening the strikes in the Republican path. They weaken them on the nationalist. We can get some more equipment, less political power. Whereas siding with the strikers, making concessions, improving labor conditions in the country is a left-wing thing, not a right-wing. Right-wing don't give a shit about labor. If you think they do, if you think they care about what your job is like and how well paid you are and how dangerous it is, you've been buying into the propaganda. Right-wingers always side with the rich in the end. It's because right-wing movements are funded by the rich, and they're nothing but fox populism, or if they're not outright embracing the rich and elitist. Millions of people are still suffering the unemployment resulting from the Great Depression. An agency to put these people to work on public projects may not fully solve the problem, but the Works Progress Administration is a step in the right direction. Oh, well, this is over, but I can't run it again for 140 days worth of... If I do a small lobbying effort, though, then I won't be able to do medium. So I should just wait until I finish WPA and grab medium. It'll be better in the long run. Although I could do small twice. I could, couldn't I? Small now and small later. I actually have to worry about political power. I do powder. Alright, yeah, small. In fact, I could have done that just before midnight. Still losing political power though. 1 every 5 days. So I'll be at 16. I'll be able to definitely do it. And when that ends, yeah, small lobbying effort is also faster than medium. It's only 30 days instead. It's a lot more efficient if you have the time. Haven't gotten screwed with a ton of events, losing house support, which I've gotten the last 2 times I did the USA, and it sucked. Sucked so hard. It's like, curse my RNG. Not this time. Not this time. This time I can actually not have to make as many sacrifices to take the Union Representation Act quickly. Start the speed here for y'all a little bit. There's not to do until I get 35 Army XP or 50 of this. Single naval treaty signed. I could, so noting when the Civil War breaks out, it re-rolls all of these Spirit Academies. It shouldn't, but it does. So I could like sling meticulous preparation. Some of the level 5 leaders could roll this like 4 extra times, but it's just equivalent as if they level up from level 1. Or you could do theater training, which I was going to do anyways, so I can try and get some brilliant strategists. And I'm not sure I'll have enough. Let's see, how much XP am I getting? 1 every 3 days. I would need effectively 120. Yeah, I can get that. 300 days before the Civil War, I can definitely do it. And then it re-rolls the leaders, at least for some Civil Wars. I can get new crop leaders who are brilliant strategists as well as the old ones. I think not all the wars do it, but it depends on how they're coded. Some of them re-roll leaders suddenly become brilliant strategists who weren't. It may be Pan will become one. I think that happened in the previous game where I already had theater training. Pan should be a brilliant strategist and isn't, so I would be happy and it wouldn't even be unrealistic. Alright. Sitting at 30, I would have to decide what to do. No one's... Well, wait. Some of these are being bought in large bulk, too. Who's buying all the... Denmark? France. Denmark and France are buying up a ton of infantry equipment. Chile is buying some. Let me guess, they're going fascist. They always go fascist. Trying to remember a time they didn't. Yeah, they're going fascist. Every bloody time they go fascist. Like, it's like the devs don't want them to ever take their communist path or anything. Every time. I'm not case. But yeah, I am selling rifles, so I'll pre-deploy these guys. Start training them. Try and dispute the sea zones. The AI often cheats and launches naval invasions despite lacking naval superiority. Still, if I can't hold the land front against the Confederacy, I'm screwed. Charleston, Kentucky. I think Tennessee isn't loyal. Arkansas may or may not be. I don't remember. There's a chance I don't get these guys. This is in Virginia proper. Why are they sitting in Virginia proper on the airfield? That's not a good place for them. Should be in Kentucky. These hills. Actually, these hills. Weird. There's a chance neither of these divisions side with me. I probably want at least 2 to attack here into this forest of Tennessee. Grab that supply hub. Push this way. Be easier to push inland, but there'll be fewer divisions. I'll still need some to deal with any divisions that rush there. So, these guys. There we go. To control left click, not right. Yeah, not training any more divisions for a while. It's not gonna help my army XP, and I don't want too many men who side with the Confederacy. It's not a big jump in combat power. Instead of a bunch of undersupplied divisions, a smaller number, small, well-trained army I can keep loyal. Under just one general here. Army of the First Army. And Army of the United States. Because there'll be a second army eventually. And name those groups. Cool. Even when it's like the Communist States of America, it's still the United States, and it's silly. It should just be the U.S. keeps its name. It's too... communism is antithetical nonsense bullshit. U.S. actually historically had a very strong communist movement around, communist and anarchist movements around like the turn of the century, 1900. By 30s, it was tiny. It was like 1% of the population, like it starts off. But it didn't really die until McCarthyism. It could have grown again with the right people, and maybe FDR not being so So we must save capitalism. If you've been more actually in favor of socialism, could have happened. He was charismatic and well liked. If he'd allied with communists, say to bring some in the government, their skills and such, in exchange for their steadfast political support. These guys cost no political power to appoint as advisors. It's more realistic than the fascist path. The U.S. might be on the verge of going fascist now in our own history, but that's almost 100 years later. Things have changed. The U.S. is a declining empire, just like the Austro-Hungarian Empire before World War I, the British Empire before World War II. The German Empire was revanchist, wanted territory back, but the UK could have gone fascist probably in that time. Spain wanted past glories. Italy, there's a lot of revanchism, but Japan was on the winning side of World War I. They still went basically fascist. Anyways, historical conditions were definitely not right for fascism. While they weren't ideal for socialist revolution, the Great Depression would have made a lot more plausible than, say, today. Where if the U.S. doesn't remain democratic, it's almost certainly going to go fascist and socialism, although it would be a much less dystopian future than fascism is highly unlikely. Despite all the representative speaks passionately in support of the government. In support of government. I should say the government. The Swedes don't understand English grammar always perfectly. Asked about her stance on a number of policy issues at a fundraising dinner, a representative spoke in support of President FDR's policies. She further claimed that many of her fellow representatives had similar views but were merely held back by idiotic short-sightedness, thinking no further than the next election instead of doing what was right for the American people. Her comments have been widely reported by the press, but several of her colleagues in hot waters, they had to explain where they stood on these issues. She is right, you know. Yeah. If you only think short term, you don't want anything to change, but immense accumulation of wealth at the top of society, billionaires, is a fundamental threat to democracy. And communism does not necessarily mean lack of freedom. The Soviet Union may not have been a very free society, but it didn't have to be. Democratic socialism is an option here. Some senators went opposition to the government. Senators are more conservative, realistically, than House, and you would expect that. Soviets, Stalin, but Germany actually has a, well, you can't see it anymore because they went the historical, but a virtuous Spartacus League path. Where they embrace civil liberties and democratic institutions. You know, the focus even says some people are the misconception for a civil liberties focus that communism means everyone has to be the same. No, it does not. It talks about, you know, freedom and stuff because you can be communist and be free. It's not, those things are not mutually exclusive, and you can be communist and not be free. The economic system does not dictate the political system. Just like there are capitalist dictatorships and there are capitalist democracies, they both exist. Of course, democracies and capitalists will often get undermined by the very rich and become oligarchies. The world's never seen a communist democracy, really. It's seen some oligarchies and, well, no, I take that back. Ever since the death of Castro, Cuba has quietly reformed itself to be more democratic. Something that hasn't been reported enough. People have been there, have talked about and stuff when they're not like literal CIA trolls who mix into these, like the Democratic Socialist America will rightly send trips down there, but sometimes the CIA agents will, like young people who want to work for the CIA will propaganda this. Hold on a sec. It's not going to be much longer here. I'm going to have to go. Patient to leave. Certain people are. Could do. No, I can't do Myanmar if Africa Small is in progress. Let's grab the agricultural adjustment. Can delay Bowder to not earn my stability until I'm at 150 poke power, and I can't take him yet anyways. To take him I need suspend the persecution. So AAA, suspend the persecution. I may have to run no focus, take advantage of the 10-day buffer to build enough political power for it, but political actions. Well, I'm definitely not banning communism. Precedentship is almost never worth it. I suppose I want to know if fascism is suddenly on the rise. What else is here? Region-wide industrial integration. Nope, not doing it. Tell me if any other decisions pop, though. Alright. Continue to build Navy experience. Our experience getting closer to be able to do a quick improvisation air experience. Almost out of fuel because of all the air exercise. They'll probably have to pause those soon. These guys are all fully trained. I'm just doing it for air speed at this point. Maybe I should just cancel and sell the aircraft. I don't think tactical bombers are actually worth any more than the for air XP. I think I'll sell the tactical bombers off starting May 21st here. Get every bit of air XP out of them I can. They should be worth a lot. Same with the PBYs. Let's sell these larger medium aircraft. Oh, these are also sold off all those M1s, really. Also, or was it these guys exercise infantry, we're not getting more equipment. Right now it's pitiful. Not defense. I want to National Guard for now. Put it to exercise infantry. Same template, just everything's disabled. Alright. It's off some of my aircraft. Take a while for they had to buy them all, but I'm sure they will. They love to buy aircraft, especially ones that aren't overpriced. Cheaper aircraft they like to buy, although they really prefer fighters to anything else. It'll take a long time to sell them, but you know, I'm not going to run more exercises, then so I always selling the support equipment at normal price before, not high. Oh well. Save some fuel. Consumption. Gain now outweighs consumption, so it just hasn't updated. Alright, good time to save. Good time to cut this. I believe the video here is an hour and a half, so that's long enough. I hope you folks enjoyed the video. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May always find a getting started way to home. I'll see you next time. Might be a little while.